What's a fun fact that nobody asked for? On the 8th of April, 1942, a detachment of Polish soldiers, deployed to Iran by the Allies, bought a bear cub from an Iranian boy. In August, the bear was given to the 22nd Artillery Supply Company and named Wojtek by the soldiers. They fed him condensed milk, honey, fruit, and beer, which ended up being his favorite drink. He also picked up smoking, and enjoyed wrestling with his human friends, and bunking in on cold nights, when the Polish Second Corps was redeployed at Italy to fight alongside the British. The Brits wouldn't transport mere mascots on a troop ship, so Wojtek was formally enrolled in the Polish army as a private. During the brutal Battle of Monte Cassino, Private Wojtek helped keep the guns firing by hauling boxes of ammo, each containing 4 25-pound shells. These crates normally took 4 men to haul. For his bravery and service in battle, Wojtek was promoted to corporal, and his visage became the emblem of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. After the war, the 22nd was sent to Scotland, before being demobilized, at which point Wojtek was given to the Edinburgh Zoo, where he was often visited by Polish soldiers until his death in 1963. That is the story of Corporal Wojtek, the Polish artillery bear. When Haiti was fighting the French in a civil war, the French sent some Polish to deal with it when they saw how the slaves were treated. The Polish joined the Haiti Revolution. Edit. Turns out I should post more comments at 3 a.m. The speed at which an insect can run is limited by its leg length. Cockroaches have hind legs which are longer than the front 4 legs. In some cockroach species, when running at full speed over flat ground, the front 4 legs leave the ground. The cockroach's body acts like an aeroplane wing, flying just above the ground, kicking along with its back legs. Louie Louie was a number 2 hit in 1963 for the Kingsmen. The vocals were so garbled and slurred. Rumors spread that the lyrics were dirty. The FBI investigated the song on suspicion of violating obscenity laws. After 2 years, they decided the lyrics were unintelligible at any speed. Somehow, they missed the drummer yelling "fuck" at 0:54. Dragonflies suck water up their butts and shoot it out like jets when they get tired. The man who killed John Wilkes Booth cut off his own testicles with scissors. Greater stick nest rats, an Australian native rodent, glue its nests together using urine, which dries like cement. I was born with an undescended testicle. Usually you will have a surgery to repair it at 12 months. My parents did fuck all until my preschool wouldn't accept me without a 2-year checkup, where my pediatrician discovered I never had the surgery. So now I had it very late at 3 years old. And it caused them to do some damage to my right testicle, getting it through the pass without breaking anything. It caused it to not grow as expected, and as thus is about 1/4 the size of my left testicle. If I suck in my gut, my testicle goes right back up into my public bone area and you can see it clearly. An ethical life pro tip: since this has happened, I've used it to show my management a picture of a hernia and taking all my PTO before quitting without questions. Edit. To clarify, I did not have to show a picture of my hernia. Policy for more than 3 days of consecutive absences requires a doctor's note to return to work. Basically a clearance to return. I obviously wasn't having surgery, so I just showed them and nobody ever questioned why I needed time off after that. Queen Victoria gave the rights of her will to her physician who she trusted more than her family. The royal family is still trying and failing to get the will from the doctor's family. Your immune system doesn't know your eyes exist. They have their own immune system. If your body's immune system ever learned about your eyes, it would view them as a foreign invader. And your white blood cells would melt them straight out of your sockets. A baby could swim in a blue whale's veins. That's how huge it is. There is a forest that is 107 acres, but made up of only 1 tree. Thousands of aspens that share a single root system. Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd. A trapper caught a mama bear in Winnipeg, Canada, and the baby was there. He got the baby and sold it to a Canadian soldier. The soldier took it to his base, and everyone loved the bear. They trained the bear, and was great for morale. But they had to go to World War I. So they gave the bear to the London Zoo. The zoo saw that the bear was good with everyone, including kids. kids could play with, and even ride the bear. The kids made many memories with the increasingly popular bear. One of those kids, Christopher Robin. His father saw Christopher Robin playing with his bear, named after the bear at the zoo. Since the soldier found the bear in Winnipeg, he shortened the name to Winnie. That's right. You know this bear as the classic children's story, Winnie the Pooh. Christopher Robin was Christopher Robin Milne, son of author A. A. Milne, who wrote the Winnie the Pooh books. Edit 2. Where did Pooh come from? When Christopher Robin would get goose down feathers on him, he would excitedly blow them away with a Pooh. Pooh. His father thought it was adorable, and so added the Pooh after Winnie. Edit. Correction. The bear cub was from White River, Ontario, not Winnipeg. Harry Colburn purchased the bear cub for $20 and named it Winnipeg. Winnie, for short, after his hometown in Canada. Colburn was originally from Birmingham, England. On December 9, 1914, Colburn donated Winnie to the London Zoo. Thanks you, Loverboy_Tallis. Elephants can purr like cats. I used to work as a checkpoint manager in airport security. I would get called over for strange or unusual items, to make a determination if said item was a threat to aviation safety. It was quite common to be called by screening officers to verify that the oddly shaped organic mass was in fact a butt plug. Everyone knows what a dildo or vibrator looks like. But fucking kids these days, they wouldn't know a butt plug if it jumped up, started dancing and sang "Hello My Ragtime Gal." Fire smells different depending on how far from the flame your face is. There's a surgery called a rotationoplasty where they remove the middle of your leg, then reattach the foot, backwards, to your thigh so that your ankle can be your new knee for a prosthetic leg. Seems gross, but it really improves the quality of life over the other option, which is no knee at all. Michael Jackson owned the original pair of scissor hands from the movie Edward Scissorhands. Netflix has trouble recommending you titles after viewing Napoleon Dynamite. In 1985, a Serbian farmer stuck a beer bottle up his ass, wide end first. This sparked a chain of events that eventually led to the collapse of Yugoslavia. Further reading. Before he became president, Abraham Lincoln was an elite wrestling champion. In 300 matches, he only lost one. Bonus fun fact: he was also a licensed bartender. In Starship Trooper, the actors agreed to do the co-ed shower scene only if the director got naked with them, and he did. Leonardo da Vinci was the first person to correctly conclude that a human erection is caused by blood. Before him, everybody thought that it was air, and that a strong breeze could cause an erection. Source. Edit. I guess I should have phrased that differently, lol. People used to think that erections were powered by air rather than blood. Here is some more info for those who don't believe how little we knew about the human body up until quite recently. For example, the First World Congress on Impotence was held in Paris in 1984. Here is a little excerpt from Physiology of Penile Erection, a brief history of the scientific understanding up till the 80s of the 20th century. Introduction. Understanding the physiology of penile erection is important for all who work in the field of sexual medicine. Aim. The aim of this study was to highlight and analyze historical aspects of the scientific understanding of penile erection. Methods. Review of the chapters on the physiology of erection out of the author's collection of books dealing with male sexual functioning published in the German, French, Dutch, and English language in between 1780 and 1940. Review of the topic, Physiology of Penile Erection, of relevant chapters of classical writings on erectile dysfunction. An annotated collection of original texts from 3 millennia, including the study of all relevant references mentioned in these books. Main outcome measure. The main outcome measure used for the study was the scientific understanding of the physiology of penile erection. Results. In antiquity, Galen considered penile erection as the result the accumulation of air. His ideas so dominated medieval medicine that nearly everyone then alive was a Galenist. The beginning of the Renaissance shows meaningful examples of experimental scientific work on the penis. Da Vinci correctly concluded that erections were caused by blood. And in the 18th century, von Haller from Switzerland was the first who explained that erections were under the control of the nervous system. In the 19th century, a mindset that emphasized on experimentation determined a new direction, namely experimental physiology. Animal studies clarified that stimulation of the nervi erigentes induced small muscle relaxation in the corpora cavernosa. Nearly all were published in the German language. That may be one of the reasons that the existence of the concept of smooth muscle relaxation remained controversial until the First World Congress on Impotence in 1984 in Paris. Conclusions. As the Renaissance's innovative research defined neural and vascular physiologic phenomena responsible for penile erection. The concepts from animal experimentations in Europe in the 19th century significantly contributed to the current understanding of penile erection. Van Driel M.F. Physiology of Penile Erection. A Brief History of the Scientific Understanding up till the 80s of the 20th Century. Sex Med 2015. 3-343-351. That source. The potato was once so undesirable that even the poor of Europe wanted nothing to do with it. They believed OT caused leprosy, sterilization, and an overactive sex drive. On 1939, February 14, a German battleship was launched and was sank with only 118 of the 200 crew members surviving. Among them was a black and white cat named Oscar, which was found floating on a board and was picked up from the water by a British ship. On October 27, 1941, the ship sank to the west of Gibraltar and Oscar was found clinging to a piece of plank and was later brought to the shore establishment in Gibraltar. When British officers learned what happened, they named him Unsinkable Sam. After that, he was adopted by the crew of the HMS Ark Royal, and in 1941, November 14, a torpedo hit the ship. Sam was again found clinging to a piece of plank and was described as angry but unharmed. By this time it was enough for the poor cat, and remained a days on land hunting mice in Gibraltar and then being transferred to the UK, where he lived his final days. And this was the story of Unsinkable Sam. Ground cinnamon is technically sawdust. Kangaroos have 3 vaginas. I forgot how I learned that. 2% of people can hear their eyes move and blink. Edit. I hate to be that person, but Mom, I am famous. Baby kittens and puppies can't urinate and defecate on their own. Their mothers lick their genitals and anuses to prompt them to do so, and then also cleans it up. Most people don't know this if they happen to be taking care of an orphaned young kitten or puppy, so this ends up being a cause of death for a lot of them. If you ever take care of an orphaned kitten, puppy, or know someone who is, you must use a damp paper towel or wash rag to wipe their bottoms until they urinate or defecate. Rainbow the more you know star. Penguin eggs turn transparent when hard-boiled. Alexander the Great. Mussolini. Napoleon. Julius Caesar and Hitler allegedly suffered from ailurophobia, the fear of cats. German submarine U-215. Sank during WW2. Didn't decompress though. It's still sealed on the bottom of the ocean with 49 people inside. I've always wondered what went down in there. Lucille Ball helped bankroll the first script and episode of Star Trek. There was a Finnish soldier named Aimo Koivunen who got separated from his unit. He had no food or weapons. And to avoid dying, took enough methamphetamine for 30 men. During his insane drug binge, he skied about 250 miles, passed over a landmine and survived, and caught and ate a bird raw. That's just a few details. I recommend actually reading about this absolute legend yourself. You could thread fishing wire through your tear duct and out your bumhole. They're connected. And fishing wire is thin enough. If you ever see someone using an iPhone in a movie, they are not one of the bad guys. Apple requires as a condition of licensing their products for use in film, TV, that only protagonists are allowed to operate them on camera. So, if a character is using an iPad in a horror movie, they will not end up secretly being the killer. When a rooster crows, it partially pinches shut its ear canal so it won't deafen itself. Goldfish don't have 2 seconds memories. Some can remember a face for years. Lake Superior does not give up her dead. The waters of Lake Superior are so cold that the bodies and the majority of stuff from shipwrecks is preserved. The Great Lakes, all of them, are basically just giant ship graveyards. The world's largest tire producer by total number of tires made is Lego. You will never be stung by a male hornet. They are very docile, and don't even have stingers, since that really is an ovipositor. The skin that makes up your lips is the same type of skin as that on your butthole. Queen Elizabeth made the first transatlantic phone call as a teenager to her parents while traveling abroad. There is a thing known as the half-life of facts, where there is an amount of time that will pass before 50% of the facts you know in a subject will be either proven false or superseded with more detailed knowledge. This duration differs based on the field of knowledge. This means it's almost certain that a large percent of the fun facts in this thread will be wrong or outdated, which is likely a leading cause of arguments online. The average human head will pop off with 3 full turns. You can smell your own lungs. Your brain just filters it out. The little piggy that went to market wasn't shopping. Cleopatra was Greek, not Egyptian or African. The largest cell in the human body is the female egg. The smallest is the male sperm. In X200b, the largest and smallest cells create life. Humans share 99.9% of their DNA with any other human on the planet. Humans share 99% of their DNA with their closest relative, the chimpanzee. Humans also share 60% of their DNA with bananas. Almost all mammals take around the same time to urinate. Chimpanzees have been discovered hunting gorillas with spears. A majority of near-death experiences, being clinically dead but brought back, are positive. Do with that as you will. There was an experiment once to see how hope affects animals with higher intelligences. And they tested this by drowning mice. Mice that were put in a bucket of water drowned in something like 2 minutes. However, mice that were taken out after about a minute and a half were given a chance to rest, and then were put back in the bucket, lasted close to 50 hours. There are more fake plastic flamingos for sale than there are living flamingos on the planet. Between 1913 and 1914, Sigmund Freud, Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Emperor Franz Joseph, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Leon Trotsky lived in Vienna within 4 kilometers of each other. Talk about sitcom idea. Chainsaws were originally made for assisting in difficult childbirth, breech, etc. Maya Rudolph's mom is singer Minnie Riperton. Everyone starts off their life as an asshole. Humans are deuterostomes, which means that when they develop in the womb the butthole forms before any other opening. The day that Michael Jackson's hair famously caught on fire during the filming of a Pepsi commercial was on January 27, 1984, the 282nd day of his life. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, and died on June 25, 2009, living to be 563 days old. The day of his accident was the exact median day of his life. He had a literal mid-life crisis. Octopus detaches and throws a modified arm penis covered with sperm at their mate. The word déjà vu gets its name from what it's thought to be. Déjà vu happens when your brain identifies something that is normally unfamiliar as familiar. However, it has a little-known counterpart. Déjà vu is the opposite. When something familiar suddenly seems unfamiliar for some reason. Déjà vu is actually much easier to activate than déjà vu because you can do this by simply saying a word 100 times in a row. By the end of it, the word no longer sounds like the word anymore and just sounds like strange noises. Déjà vu. Edit. It was bothering me so I fixed the spelling. One field mouse has the caloric equivalent of 2 pizza rolls. The occupied space of atoms is very small. The vast majority of everything is the empty space between protons and electrons. The occupied space in an atom is roughly 0.00000000004%. Fun fact: ancient Egyptians used crocodile and alligator shit as a contraceptive. Capybara spend so much time in the water the Catholic Church allows their consumption during Lent, classifying them as aquatic like fish. The girl who played Ducky in A Land Before Time has yep 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 on her tombstone. Ducks have corkscrew-shaped penises, as do some other animals. Gatorade was developed for the Florida Gators football team, hence the name. A man named Louis Le Prince is technically the first person to invent a motion picture camera movies. However, he went missing during a train ride and was not able to show his invention before Edison. The story of Beauty and the Beast was probably based on the tragic life of Petrus Gonsalves. According to Refinery 29, in 1537 there was a young boy named Petrus Gonsalves who was regularly called a beast. Reportedly, this was most likely because he had a case of hypertrichosis, a condition that causes a person to grow hair all over their body, often referred to as werewolf syndrome. Gonsalves was just 10 years old when he was taken from his native country, Spain, and sent to the King of France to operate as a type of court jester. King Henry decided to take on Gonsalves as his little pet project. Refinery 29 wrote, "The king groomed Gonsalves to be a nobleman." Eventually, King Henry's wife, Catherine de' Medici, who took over after the king died, found Gonsalves a wife, coincidentally another woman named Catherine. Though it took some getting used to, the beauty fell in love with the beast. They were married for 40 years and had 7 kids together, 4 of which also had hypertrichosis. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.